owes me $5, Bill Gates. He owes me $5, Bill Gates.
I hope you enjoyed that montage of windows, because we're going to talk about taxing Bill Gates.
He owes me $5, Bill Gates.
So Bill Gates caused quite a stir this week when he was asked about the wealth taxes proposed by candidates like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
I paid more than anyone in taxes. If I'd had to pay $20 billion, it's fine.
Bill Gates made the not quite controversial claim that wealth taxes might have affected the decisions he made in his life.
But, you know, when you say I should pay $100 billion, okay, then I'm starting to do a little math about what I have left over. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
This turned into quite the meme this week, and Elizabeth Warren even changed her tax calculator to include a special link for Bill Gates. Bernie Sanders claimed that if we had actually taxed Bill Gates $100 billion, we could end homelessness and provide clean water to the nation. Bernie has a great idea. Let's think about what we could have done with an extra $100 billion in tax revenues. Bernie said that if we had actually taxed Bill Gates $100 billion, then we could end homelessness and provide clean water to the nation. So here I am in a home with some clean water to demonstrate what it would look like to tax Bill Gates. Bill Gates founded Microsoft in 1975, and since then he's got his net worth is now about $100 billion. Now that doesn't take into account the taxes that he's paid and other things that he's got. That is his net worth today. And here we are with how much the government has spent since 1975. Now the government since 1975 has spent $126 trillion in today's money. And it's convenient because in a gallon there's about 128 fluid ounces. So you can think about $1 trillion as one fluid ounce, which is going to be hard for my people who use the metric system, but let's just go with 128 ounces of water, 1 gallon. This is government expenditures since Microsoft was founded. And we're talking about taking away that $100 billion and putting it towards social programs. So what would another $100 billion look like on top of this? Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine that if this amount of money hasn't already solved these problems, that extra drop of water is going to make that much of a difference. $100 billion is nothing compared to everything the government has already spent. So now that we've established that $100 billion really wouldn't have done anything for the federal government, let's think more about what these taxes are. I think the best response to the Bill Gates meme has been Gabriel Zucman, who's one of the economists behind Elizabeth Warren's tax plans, and he made the tongue-in-cheek comment that surely Bill Gates would not have started Microsoft in 1975 if taxes had been so high, when of course taxes were much higher. And so he makes a fair point that people do still start these businesses even when taxes are high, which is one of our biggest concerns when we think about taxing large wealth, that people won't go and do the activities that generate that large wealth. So that's a fair point. Look, we have a nice case in point. We had higher taxes. Microsoft was founded. I think we can learn a little bit more when we look at a different tax on windows, which would be a tax on these windows that provide us light. Governments historically have looked for ways to raise revenue, and one of those ways was to tax windows. And taxing windows was a great idea because you can look just from the street, you can count the number of windows. You don't have to worry about people hiding how many windows they have. People need windows for their houses. There are a lot of reasons why we would expect a window tax to be a great way to get revenue. But the problem is people still avoided this tax through a couple of ways. They boarded up their windows, so they no longer had a window that could be taxed. They didn't make as many windows in new buildings. These were ways of people getting around this tax and still having their income and their wealth, just sacrificing a little bit of light in their life. And some people argued that this caused some big problems in the long run because you didn't have enough buildings that had proper lighting or ventilation. So the question isn't so much, would this tax discourage Microsoft from being founded in the beginning? It's what kind of activities from Microsoft and Bill Gates would we not have seen if we taxed away that money and put it towards something else? And one of the things I'm pretty sure about is that we would not have seen the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation without that. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has almost certainly done more towards eradicating some of these big picture questions than that extra $100 billion would have done if the government had spent it. Speaking of Bill Gates, I do videos on his annual letter, so go ahead and check that out. And if you're interested more in who pays for taxes and tariffs, go ahead and check out this video right here. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time on Market Power.